Hey, I'm Heather. I'm a sexuality empowerment coach, and lately we have been talking about philosophies and ideologies around sex. So last week we talked about sex neutrality. The week before that we talked about sex positivity. So I figured it was kind of only fair to give a little bit of time and footage to sex negativity. And that's kind of the belief that sex is harmful or disruptive or out of control or something that is uh, like inherently negative in people's life, not just the belief that sex can be a negative part of people's lives, right? There's definitely consent violations, abuse, coercion, objectification, and non consensual fetishization of people, of races, of skin, of abilities. There's so many things, and there's so many ways that sex can be a negative part of people's lives, but that's different from having the view that sex in and of itself is inherently negative, immoral, evil, disruptive to the way you live your life. There's a lot of discussion every now and then whenever a new study is released or the media kind of makes the rounds about, oh, this new thing's been discovered and isn't sex awful? Or someone talks about how America has a super sex negative culture or Canada isn't as progressive as we, would like to be. There's discussion about whether or not we hate sex in North America. And I personally don't think people hate sex in North America. I think sex confuses people. I think people are afraid of sex. I think people don't understand sex. I think sex and sexuality gets frustrating for people. Um, if we hated something, then I don't think it would be so successful in advertising. I don't think it would be something that people think almost to an obsessive nature about. But I think there's definitely a fear of sex and sexuality in and of ourselves, because when we fully connect to our sexuality and when we're in control of our own sex lives, there is an innate power that people can't take away from us, which is scary to people who want to control us. And by that I mean media, I mean church, I mean parents dealing with children. When your children are super young, it's easy to control them. When they start having their own drives and their own desires, and sex is a big part of that, it gets harder to control them. And even when the controlling part comes from a place of wanting to keep them safe from harm or from emotional hurt, it's still control. And so, we often see a lot of panic around budding sexuality of young people, because that's their desire coming through. It makes them harder to control. It makes them less pliable, right? Um, so yeah, that's my personal take on things, and I'm really curious to hear what other people think about sex in North American society. Do you think we hate it? Do you think our view is really that negative, or are you like me and you think it's more of a fear of sexuality, maybe even some jealousy of people who really are in control of their sexuality or a desire to be like them? I'd really love to hear your comments on this, so I hope you will leave them below and we can engage in some discussion. Later.